But there's the haves and the have-nots. Even among people who have, who are educated, there was that gap that had to be bridged. And there is no doubt that computers draw the outside world in. They help us to do so many things well now. They help us to access so many things without difficulty. Social networking, I suppose, often thought of and sometimes talked about in kind of negative terms. Something that could put at risk genuine friendships, or as makes the young and the vulnerable more amenable to the human predators who are out there. At the same time, as we are aware of that and need, of course, to take the protective measures and have the education and the care, the personal care and responsibility around those dangers, nonetheless, the truth of the matter is the positive aspects are really, really plain to see. I mean, not so long ago, those who were suffering the bleak forlornness of being away from family and friends through immigration, whether they were immigrants into Ireland or Irish immigrants out, it's true all around the world, they have now the opportunity to Skype, to text, to email, to stay in a kind of an intimate context and an intimate friendship and an intimate openness to each other's lives that simply did not exist in previous generations, and social networking sites allow them and allowed many, many, many ranges of people to keep in contact with one another. Older people, for example, who face the loss of social networking mainly on account of increasing frailty and being confined to home or housebound, or the sick, or those who suffer from disability, that means that their range of options in terms of mobility and socialising are limited. For them, these things are absolutely key to living a full and integrated life. And so for them, getting to grips with online communication can really not just open up the world to them, but can open them as people up to the world, offering them places where they can make an ongoing contribution, which without that technology might be very, very, very difficult. Allows them to become a bit more independent, shopping online, banking online, networking online. So these are extraordinarily important things that have made life so much better for our community. I think in particular of the godsend that technology has been, that information technology has been, particularly to people with disability. Helping them, for example, to transcend deafness, blindness, mobility issues, people who suffered or who lived with dyslexia, to see what the world of the computer is able to offer them now is truly fantastic. I come from a home with my younger brother, the oldest of my 5 brothers, is profoundly deaf from birth. And anybody who's ever been involved with anybody who is deaf, who's a deaf member of the family, will know how difficult communications were until eventually we began to get new ideas around phone technology, around texting, around the internet and computer, which have now completely, utterly transformed their lives. And that is true for many, many other disabilities. So that's a big investment, a big, big investment in that one human person's well-being, their physical well-being, their mental well-being, their opportunity to showcase their talents, to develop their talents in ways that simply in the past were narrowed to them. And in a way, each one of these 500,000 people who have been helped through ECDL to access computer literacy, these are people, we start with that one human person. That one person is now stronger, more confident in themselves and in the world. But it's also a formidable collective investment in our country. When you aggregate those numbers, when you realise just the reach and extent of all those people, practically every house in the country has had someone involved in ECDL, has someone who has a degree of computer literacy, and possibly more than one, generally much more than one. That gives us, as a nation, a level of computer literacy, a level of adaptability, which is really so important in these times when our people need to reskill and upskill to keep ahead of market forces, to keep ahead of the times that we are in, this economic crisis, which makes much more stringent demands of us as people who make a commitment both to our own workplace and for those who haven't got jobs, those who are hoping to have jobs. Without computer literacy, without computer skills, our opportunities are, well, they're just quite simply reduced. So as we move towards economic recovery, this both individual and collective investment in the knowledge economy and in making us part of it, an actual living part of the knowledge economy. It's so important in terms of creativity and innovation, in terms of just get up and go, in terms of enhancing our can-do attitude. The investment, I don't think you could ever measure it, actually, to be honest. I mean, you can measure it in terms of numbers. You can tell us that the numbers are 500,000, and that's amazing in itself. You can tell us where they come from. You can tell us, and we've seen all the different categories, and they're all incredibly reassuring. But actually, I don't think that we would ever be able to sit here today and unpack the impact, the true impact of that, because the societal and economic impact of that is quite extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. And so we have people, we can see in the way in which people have embraced this opportunity, the kind of people we have in this country. They are people who, when an opportunity is offered, they take it. They see it as something to enhance themselves and also to enhance their family life, their work life, our community life. So as we mark this 500,000th person who has taken what was for them sometimes a very intimidating step, easy for the kids, easier for the kids, but for older people not so easy. For those who are reskilling and upskilling, not so easy. It takes a lot of courage to go back into education. A lot of courage, because they've busy lives. They also maybe grew up at the time where, you know, when the putting in of that plug was the scary thing to do. So we have to admire their courage in taking what was an intimidating and a challenging step to make themselves the best they can be, and through that to help their families and our country become the best they can be. Can I just say a very big thank you to everybody involved in ICS Skills, all those involved in the ECDL Foundation, for reaching what is a very important milestone event. It's a milestone event that allows you to look back at all the bits and pieces and all the ups and downs and all the arguing the toss and all the planning that went into creating this remarkable statistic. It's phenomenal work. It's very important work. It goes on quietly every single day. It won't stop today because you reached 500,000. It'll keep on going. And I want to wish you every success in the future, knowing that when you do well, as ECDL ratchets up the numbers, our country is doing well, because our people are full of confidence. They're trying their best. They're out there giving their best, and they are getting in return the best training so that they are prepared to be the best in this very demanding world. Can I thank you for that? Enjoy this day and take real pride in it. It's a great milestone. Gur mille maith.